It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Kyle Benedict as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives in Yavapai County. And now here's today's Countywide.
Welcome to Countywide. I'm Kyle Benedict. Today I'm joined with Ariel Thomas Ehrlich. She is the SNAP coordinator for the Yavapai Food Council. Thank you for being here, Ariel. I know you guys have a lot going on, right, here with the Yavapai Food Council.
We do, and thank you for having me, Kyle.
Yeah, of course. And the SNAP program we're going to dive into, that's kind of be the bulk of what we talk about today. You guys, they're also looking for a few volunteers and a paid position as well. So we'll cover that throughout the show. But first off, for people who might have not be too familiar with it, or just to kind of refresh their memories, what is the Yavapai Food Council, and what do you guys do?
So we're a 501c3 nonprofit, and our mission is to support those who feed the hungry. We started in 2009 as the Verde Food Council, really focusing our efforts here locally in the Verde Valley. In 2012, with the help of the United Way of Yavapai County, we actually expanded our efforts countywide, and so now we support those who feed the hungry throughout the entire county of Yavapai. And we were actually honored in 2014 by the Sedona Community Foundation with their Nonprofit of the Year award. Oh, wow.
Great. So how was 2014? I know you guys have your annual report out, and here I kind of just have numbers, but in 2014, 235,000 total meals distributed. Just kind of an overview of last year. How did it go?
Last year was a wonderful year for us. A lot of growth and expansion, and a lot of really exciting programs, and a lot of really exciting people joining our organization and reaching out to us to get involved. Some of our programs, like you mentioned, with the meal distribution, anyone who looks at our annual report will see we have a really wide variety of programs. Now, they're all intertwined in some kind of way, and they're all supporting our mission to support those who feed the hungry. All of our programs fall under one of two initiatives, either the Emergency Food Provider Initiative or the Child Hunger Initiative. I could give you a whole list of all of our programs. I don't want to overwhelm anybody. But one of our most popular programs and our most well-known program in our Emergency Food Provider Initiative is our Yavapai Food Neighbors Project, which sometimes people call the Green Bag Project. You may see some green bags around your community. It's a program that we do. It's started here in August of 2013, and it's a donor-based drive. We recruit donors to distribute and bring food into their own community. It helps emergency food providers in Camp Verde, Cottonwood, Prescott, Sedona, and the village of Oak Creek.
Okay, wow. And now the Food Neighbors Project, I mean, that makes it pretty easy. We're talking a little about it, but it makes it easy for the donors, really. It makes you just put the bag out on the front step or the food on the front step, and you guys come and pick it up, or how does that work?
Yeah, so every time we let our donors know, every time you go to the grocery store, just pick up 1 or 2 extra non-perishable items, ideally something that you would eat yourself, and put it in your green bag. On the second Saturday of every even month around 9 a.m., you leave the bag out on your porch, and then a neighborhood coordinator comes and picks it up and brings you an empty bag to restart the process. Okay,
wow. So, I mean, it's just pretty much, and you said there's also a list where people can go to kind of look just for meal ideas and food items that are needed, right? And once you pick up and collect this food, say from someone's front porch, where does that food go from there?
Yeah, we have collection sites. We have collection site in Cottonwood. We have one in the village of Oak Creek, Sedona, and one in Prescott as well. And the program is also going to be expanding statewide, so look out for additional programs throughout other counties as well. And at those collection events, the food will be weighed and sorted. The emergency food providers or food banks or food pantries will be right on site. They pick it up and they take it and stock their shelves that same day.
And now you have another one here, weekend meals for hungry kids. Can you explain that one a little bit?
Absolutely. That falls under our Child Hunger Initiative. And that program, we provide weekend meals for students who are eligible for free and reduced meals in school. We know that students who are getting maybe breakfast and lunch from school, we want to make sure that they have what they need for the weekends as well. So for our elementary age students, we have what's called the Weekend Backpack Program, which supplies 6 meals they can take on a backpack on Fridays when they leave school, and they bring it back on Monday, and they'll have breakfast, lunch, and dinner both Saturday and Sunday. And then for our high school students, we found that the backpacks didn't work as well, so we actually have youth pantries. So they're set up like regular food pantries, and they're on campus for the students, and the high school age students can go in, they can pick out their foods. It's kind of like shopping. We try to make it in that way for them. And they can have breakfast, lunch, and dinner both for Saturday and Sunday as well.
Oh, wow. Okay. So now who's eligible to enroll in that program, and how do you enroll in that?
So the way that you would enroll in it is we let people know about the program. We let parents know who throughout the school, especially those we think may be eligible. The school maintains those records. We make sure that confidentiality is maintained. So the school will let parents know and let families know about this program. And if families want to sign up, they sign up directly with the school. For the youth pantries, it works a little bit differently. It is anonymous. It's run by parents. And students can come into the office, and the parents have a list of who's potentially eligible, and they just check them off the list.
Oh, okay. And it's all confidential? It's
completely confidential. While we work with emergency food providers to pack the backpacks and maintain the supplies, we don't know who they're going to. The school maintains those records, and it's left completely confidential.
Okay. And now, I mentioned at the beginning of the show that they are looking for volunteers, and volunteers are needed. What are some of the things that the volunteers do, and how do they kind of help this entire organization that you guys are doing here?
Our organization could not run without volunteers. Like I was telling you earlier, we have a very small team, and so without our dedicated volunteers, we really couldn't do all the things we're looking to do. So we have several volunteering opportunities. So if there's any programs that we've talked about today, or there's a volunteer opportunity within them. And if someone is interested in doing a particular program, they're a writer, or they want to work on social media, they are someone who likes to drive, there's someone who's willing to do lifting, there's someone who wants to work with people. We have positions, and we have places that they can be filled. And like I said, we are county-wide, so people can volunteer in their own backyard.
Okay, great. Well, shifting gears here before we take our first break, talking about the SNAP program. Just real quick, what does SNAP stand for, I guess, first off?
It stands for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program.
Okay, now what is that?
Most people know it as the previous name of food stamps.
Okay.
It's the same program. They changed the name just to better capture what the program really does in its entirety. They also changed from a paper coupon to an electronic benefits transfer card, which is a debit-like card system.
Oh, okay. Great. Well, we're going to take our first break. A good phone number for anyone interested in the SNAP program when we're talking about it here, this next segment, 928-254-8159. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will talk about that SNAP program here on Countywide.
Orkin has pest control down to a science.
When your business chooses Orkin's Precision Protection Program, you get a tailored pest control program for your specific industry and environment.
Your business can benefit from over a century of experience, training, and scientific knowledge that define the Orkin man.
Maximum protection, minimum exposure, backed by one of the industry's most comprehensive guarantees.
Choose your locally owned and operated Northern Arizona Orkin and get more than an exterminator. Get an expert.
You taught him how to hit a baseball, how to hit a receiver, the strike zone, the net. You taught him how to hit the upper corner. You even taught him how to hit the open man. But how much time have you spent teaching him what not to hit?
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Welcome back to Countywide. I'm Kyle Benedict, sitting down with SNAP coordinator for the Yavapai Food Council, Ariel Thomas Ehrlich. Again, a phone number if you're interested in the SNAP program, 928-254-8159. And then for any more information on just Yavapai Food Council in general, you can go to yavapaifoodcouncil.org. Nice and easy for you to remember there. So the SNAP program, as Ariel mentioned before we went to break, it's the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. So how does that work? How does that program work?
So it's, like I said, it's what was originally called food stamps. And the way the program works is if a family or an individual decides that they need some extra assistance with food, they can apply for the program. The way that you're eligible is really based upon how many people in your family and what your income is. And if you meet the guidelines as set forth by the state, then you can be eligible.
Now, how do you enroll for this or apply, I guess?
So traditionally, the way that people applied is they had to go to the Department of Economic Security office. And in this county, we actually only have 2 offices. One's in Cottonwood and the other is in Prescott Valley. And for some people, that can be quite a drive to get to. But additionally, sometimes because the demand is so high, it can actually take all day to finish your application.
Okay. Now, for some people who are actually enrolled in this, I mean, you mentioned, I also saw on the website, I'm sure there's more information about that, yavapaifoodcouncil.org, on how to apply and how to qualify, who qualifies. But, you know, here in Yavapai County, do you know how many people are enrolled in the program here locally?
So they don't break down the numbers by county, unfortunately.
Okay.
DES does release numbers statewide, and just under half the participants actually in the program are children.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay. So now is that different than from the weekend meals for hungry kids? Say, are those different kids?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Like I said, those are confidential programs. So while we know the clients that we work with, we keep everything confidential. It's really important to us that we maintain confidentiality, that people can get service in a confidential and even sometimes in an anonymous manner. We do offer services where we just break down the application process because it can be a bit overwhelming. So we try to break it down step by step. We offer eligibility screening so that people can find out if they are eligible. And again, that can be anonymous.
Okay, and now I think just looking at your website and kind of the generic overview of the SNAP program, a lot of people who are in the program, I mean, they're not necessarily unemployed. They just need a little bit of help. And one thing that you guys talk about on the website is the importance of nutrition. Now, how does that play in with this program? Yeah,
so it sounds like a kind of a 2-part question. So I'll start with the first part, the working part. We have people who are of all different ages, all different ability levels who are on this program. And so some people, most people on this program are working. Over half of the people that are on this, that are receiving SNAP benefits, are working adults and sometimes working more than one job. And with regards to nutrition, having your budget supplemented, having the income to be able to purchase food and make your own food choices leads to healthier choices, because you're not, while we do everything we can to make sure that the food banks and the food pantries have the healthiest quality food, you aren't, in the end of the day, you're not able to have that choice in that same way that you would if you went to a grocery store and were able to pick out your own food.
And it's also, I mean, if you are going to the grocery store and you're trying to shop and get some food that's more healthy, it can be more expensive. I mean, it's really easy to go in with a set amount on what you want to spend at the grocery store that day, but once you start looking at all these healthy options, you know, it drives the price of the bill up there.
Absolutely.
So now, how does this SNAP program, how does this benefit the community? That's one thing that I think a lot of people wonder is, how is the community benefiting from this program?
Absolutely. So Harvey Grady, who is the CEO of Cornucopia Community Advocates, released a report in 2014 titled SNAP Participation in Yavapai County, which outlined the economic revenue for the county, as well as broke it down community by community, how much was received in the year of 2013. So in Yavapai County, in 2013, over $42 million in economic revenue was received because of the SNAP program.
Wow, really?
Yes.
So can you break that down a little bit?
Absolutely. So in Sedona, there was over $1 million of economic revenue in 2013. In Cottonwood, there was over $6 million of economic revenue in 2013. In Cordes Lakes and Mayer, there was over $1.5 million, and in Camp Verde, there was nearly $3.5 million. And the reason that happens is because for every dollar that's spent in SNAP benefits, every dollar that's provided to an individual or to a family or to a child, $1.73 is generated in economic revenue.
Huh, really? Mm-hmm. For every dollar?
For every dollar, and that's according to the USDA.
Okay, great. So, I mean, it's not just, I mean, the communities are really seeing a benefit from enrollment here.
Absolutely.
Now, we talked about volunteers that are needed. Are you looking for volunteers to help with this program or just in general?
Yes, we're definitely looking for volunteers to help with this program. We have 2 different volunteer programs. One is our educational outreach, and those are the people that are going to talk with clients directly. They're going to talk with larger groups of people, and they're going to work in all the communities that we serve. And we're looking for about 2 to 4 hours of service a month. So that's not a whole lot of time. Mm-hmm. And it's great for people who like public speaking or want to work on those skills. We're also looking for people to help with the application process. So people who want to work one-on-one, maybe answer some more in-depth questions and therefore get a longer training. For that volunteering opportunity, we're asking for a little bit more time, between 4 to 6 hours a month, but even still that averages to about an hour a week.
Okay, now how many, you mentioned earlier, you guys are kind of run and driven by volunteers. Do you know how many offhand that you have here in Yavapai County?
Oh, goodness.
I'm sure it's quite a bit.
It's quite a bit, especially if you include the Food Neighbors Project.
Okay.
The Food Neighbors Project, we count all of our donors and especially all of our neighborhood coordinators and our district coordinators and steering committee members as volunteers. They're entirely volunteering their time either to donate or to pick up those bags or to help plan and implement the project. So it's a tough one to estimate the numbers, but it is quite a few, but we're definitely looking for more support, especially with the SNAP program.
Okay. And you mentioned a little bit that you kind of have a nice story from one of the clients. You want to share that with us?
Yeah, absolutely. When I first came, one of the first clients that I worked with was a single parent and with their child. They'd recently come to the area we were doing outreach in, and were looking for help with food. They'd been homeless for over a year and had recently found housing, which was a huge breakthrough for them. As we were working through the application, this parent told me they spent all day traveling between or waiting in lines on the phone just to meet the most basic of needs to get food and a roof over their heads for that evening. And once they finished the application with us, they came back to do their interview with us, and they used our telephone to do that. They found out they were eligible for benefits. And this parent just left with so much hope, feeling like they were going to be in one place, their child was going to be able to stay in one school, they were going to be able to have food, and that they were going to be able to find a job because they weren't spending 40 hours a week just meeting the most basic of needs.
Well, that's great. I mean, it's got to make it, hearing stories like that, your job even that much more rewarding.
Absolutely.
And especially for these volunteers, as you mentioned, their Yavapai Food Council just in general is volunteer driven. So again, a good phone number for the SNAP line, 928-254-8159. That's specifically for the SNAP line, but if you call that, they can direct you to wherever you need to be, and YavapaiFoodCouncil.org is the website. We're going to take our second break. When we come back, we'll talk about that paid position that's available, as well as some more of the volunteer needs coming here on Countywide.
When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke. I'm Paul George, and I want you to spot a stroke fast. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. Protect the ones you love. Spot a stroke fast.
I love taking care of my mom. It wasn't easy at first. She learned how to better communicate her needs.
And you learned how to not ignore yours.
I discovered how to make healthier meals.
And I discovered how much I enjoyed them.
Becoming a caregiver is a learning experience for everyone. Find articles, tips, and tools from experts and others who have been in your place. The Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
When I get all steamed up, then I shout.
Tip me over and pour me out. Oh.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Cheers.
Take time to be a dad today.
Welcome back to Countywide. I'm Kyle Benedict, joined with SNAP coordinator Ariel Thomas-Ehrlich. She's with Yavapai Food Council. Now, you guys we've talked about Sedona a little bit here in Cottonwood, but you guys are all over the county, and you are looking for volunteers throughout the county. What are some of the communities? What communities do you serve?
So for the SNAP program specifically, we do serve Sedona. We also work in Camp Verde. We work in Cordes Lakes and Mayer. And we also do some outreach in Rimrock as well. But we are looking to expand, and with more volunteers and with more support, we can expand those services. Anyone in those areas, we're always looking to expand our outreach network. So if you are working with an organization who serves clients who may be eligible for SNAP, we'd love to talk with you and see if we can let more of your clients know.
Great. So we mentioned the need for volunteers, and then there's also, again, that paid position. Now, are they going to be required? Can you explain that paid position, and are they going to be required to kind of go throughout the county?
Absolutely. So it's a part-time position. It's about 15 hours a week, and it's our SNAP outreach assistant position. And so the position really has two parts to it. They have the outreach and the public part of it, and then there's the more behind-the-scenes section, which is the reporting, scheduling, answering client questions. They're really going to be that client liaison, someone that the clients can turn to get answers, to figure out where to go. And they're also going to be backing up volunteers and training volunteers. So they're going to work heavily with our volunteer team as well. This person would be required to drive. We would ask that they be willing to drive throughout the county, although they may not have to, and they may not have to as frequently. But we do outreach events throughout the month, and we need to make sure that they're willing to go to those places.
What are some of the, what type of experience are you looking for in this person and some of the skills?
Yeah, so it's a great question. I always feel like you see these job descriptions and you see what you're going to do, but you really want to know what they're looking for. So we're looking for someone who has at least 2 years of college experience. Ideally, someone who has either experience with the Department of Economic Security or the SNAP application or the program itself, either personally or professionally. And ideally, someone with Spanish language skills. But those are all optional things we're looking for. But we definitely need someone who has a patient communication style, someone who's empathetic, detail-oriented and organized, someone who has computer knowledge of Microsoft Office Suite and Google Docs.
Okay, great. Now the application process, can that be found on YavaPaiFoodCouncil.org?
So it can be found on our Facebook page, actually, and we put an online ad on Craigslist. And you can find more information by either calling me or emailing through the website.
Okay.
We are still interviewing. We are still looking for people. Anyone who's interested in applying should send their resume and cover letter to us.
Okay, great. And I'm sure, as always, volunteers are needed. So, again, the SNAP line is 928-254-8159 if you're interested in that paid position or just want to learn more about this the SNAP program and just Yavapai Food Council in general. YavapaiFoodCouncil.org is the website. Ariel, thank you for joining me today. And it sounds like you guys got a lot going on. 2014 was great, so hopefully we can just kind of recreate that this year. But thanks for coming in today.
Thank you so much for having me.
That's going to do it for Countywide today. I'm Kyle Benedict, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.